journey, just about how you, like when you joined, why you joined, and how your promotions have like lined up.
Yeah, so hey y'all. I feel like the lighting is like super weird, so let me go. So I started in April of 2016, and I went executive in June. However, when I went executive, it was really truly it wasn't right. Like I basically forced the promotion and it crumbled. So like I was executive for like 2 months and then it got super draining and I lost it. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm going to wait until the time is right. So I did not go Ruby for 8 months, y'all. 8 months before I went Ruby. And so January came around, went Ruby. It was right. I had everybody on my chart was working. It was what I was praying for. And during that season, it was a lot of pruning. It was a lot of patience. It was a lot of building up my leadership skills. It was a lot of me just finding myself in my business. And it was a beautiful process. I wouldn't change a thing about it. And so in March, I went diamond. In May, I went double diamond. And then I sat at double diamond for almost a year. I promoted to, I went emerald in March, diamond in May, sat at diamond for 10 months. And then this year in March, after conference, after conference, I went double diamond in March, and then I went triple diamond in May of this year. So that's kind of been the course or the timeline of my promotions.
Are you going press?
Hey, I just got off 4 coaching calls back to back. I've been on calls since 7 o'clock, so something better happen. No, I'm praying about it. I really, really am praying about it. I'm excited.
That's so awesome. Okay, so let me ask you a couple things. Number one, the beautiful process, did it feel beautiful when you were in it?
Absolutely not.
So kind of walk us through that time, like walk us through your thought process. You know, I think sometimes people, this business does love speed, right? But there's also a level of patience that it does require. And so it's like a healthy balance between the two of running with the momentum, but also recognizing when the momentum's not there and what that season is kind of trying to tell you. And so kind of walk us through that development process and how your mindset was not just like, well, because if you're sitting at Ruby or executive, it's not like you're making big bucks, you know? So kind of walk us through that, your thought process and that part of it.
Well, I would say honestly, the first thing that I had to realize was that promotions are from God and they happen when the time is right. Okay. So I remember calling Burgundy when I just felt like really a little bit of pressure to keep filling boxes, and it didn't feel right. I'm like, no, like I don't want to build a business like this. It's just going to crumble. Like, yes, I was a high customer enroller, but I didn't want to do that. So I remember calling Burgundy and I was like, Berg, like this is it. And she was like, don't do it. Like, that's what I did the first time. Don't do it. And so I stopped, and but I kept working. So I ended up just going through these processes of figuring out, like, what is it that I need to do? What am I doing wrong? Not getting in funks, not slowing down. I never slowed down. I started working like I had a team. So that was number one. I really took time to figure out what does it take for me to have a team, and how can I keep a team, and how can I be the best leader that I can be for my team. And so what I started doing was, for my upline, for her like group chat, I would start placing things in that chat as if I was one of the leaders in the group, even though I was just a distributor. Like, I would place things in the group. So I treated that group chat like I was one of the leaders in there. And it really, really created good habits within me to really start preparing myself for my team. And another thing is that I realized that God will not give me something that I'm not ready for. Many of us want these promotions, but we're not mentally ready. I know that I remember last year, I wanted to go double diamond after diamond. Like I was like, oh, I'm going to go double by August. And when it didn't happen, I was like, okay, well that sucks, but am I really ready to be a double diamond? Like, am I really ready to be a double diamond? Am I working like a double diamond? No. So I knew that it was not time for me to go double diamond. So that's something that you guys really want to think about. Is like, as you're approaching these promotions and you feel like you're not getting it yet, don't always think about like, well, God isn't giving me this yet, or I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Are you mentally prepared to deal with what comes along with being in that next promotion box? Are you ready to deal with people calling you and dumping everything that's going on in their life on you? Are you mentally prepared to minister to those people? Are you mentally prepared to talk them through those things? Are you mentally prepared to deal with people leaving your business? It's just different things that you're going to have to deal with. New levels equal new devils, okay? And if I had gone double diamond last year, oh my gosh, it would have been a hot mess. I was not ready, and our team wasn't ready. Our leaders needed to develop. And over that year, that's what happened. Our leaders found their roles as leaders. And that's when double and triple came. So I hope that answered your question. It's not pretty, y'all, but honestly, the executive to the ruby was really hard. Even the ruby to diamond was hard for me too, because I was finding my way as a leader. I kind of created my own group. I felt like my team we kind of needed a little bit more. I'm trying to find like a politically correct way to say this. I felt God led me to do some things for our team that was uncomfortable for me. I didn't really believe in my leadership skills the way that I needed to. I was afraid to create, do these calls for my team. I was afraid to just move. I was afraid to do what he told me to do. And that's another reason why I was stuck at these promotional levels. But when I did, you guys, and I trusted him, and I totally just surrendered my plans, trusted what he was telling me to do, and just did it, things just kind of all came together. So that was a very ugly process. It was a very ugly process. But you got to handle it with grace. You got to handle it with faith, and you just keep moving. I'm sorry if that was like TMI, but I felt
No,
like really
I love it. One of the things that I love about your journey is I feel like a lot of times, and I probably do this too, is I was like, well, I just didn't have the right people, and I just, I didn't have the leaders that I wanted to have. And it was like, what I love about the way you just explained it is you were all talking about, I wasn't the leader that I needed to be. Mm-hmm. Right? Like you were saying, it was me, I wasn't this, or I wasn't that. And for me, that's such a telling sign of who you are as a leader, right? And it's all about what can we do to get better? How can we serve our teams? Obviously God is preparing us in all ways, right? Like he is always doing it, but figuring out, that timing and not making it so much about us. But you even said there were times when my leaders need to develop. Maybe it wasn't even so much you, but it was the leaders. Because guess what? We can't do this without our team. And so I think understanding that and kind of giving it patience. So during those times where the title wasn't coming to you, the rank, right? After you hit diamond, when you really wanted to go double, how did you deal with some of that disappointment? Because it's hard to not let our flesh be like, dang, that girl went double and I didn't, or this girl promoted and I didn't. And it's hard to keep your blinders on. But how did you kind of live that?
So during the time, I would say I had the struggles that I faced in my business, you guys, was more so, it really wasn't about promotions for me. Okay. I'm going to tell you all that. It really wasn't about me not hitting my promotions. And let me tell you why. I do not compare my journey to other people. Okay. You have to have a heart where you can celebrate other people when they get those wins. And not saying that, everybody, there wasn't a time where I saw somebody promote and I'm like, oh, I want to get there too. But it was like, oh, let me celebrate her because one day that's going to be me too. And you know what? It's not my time. And I have to be okay with that. So I caught that very early on, and I let my faith drive everything that I did. So what did that look like? That looked like every day I'm in my word. Every single day. Every day, y'all. I have a Bible group where every day I post a scripture. And some days, oh my gosh, some days I am a complete failure and I may post at the end of the day. But during that time, I was on it. Like every morning, every single morning, I would post the scripture and a little blurb or whatever the Holy Spirit spoke to me during that time. That set me up to always start my day in a place of gratitude, in a place of just really exercising my faith and understanding that whatever God has for me, it's for me and it's going to come when the time is right. And I understood that, again, promotions come when it's time. They come from God. So during that 10-month wait from diamond to double, every month I felt like I was getting closer and closer, but it wasn't right yet. And then when the time came, I knew it. And I was so excited. But during that time, one thing I can tell you is that every month we were brainstorming. We were thinking what can we do differently? How can we grow within ourselves? How can I, as the leader who was doing everything, how can I stop doing that because I'm crippling my leaders and not allowing them to grow? Okay. And that's still a struggle. It's still something I'm working. That's why I'm not presidential yet, y'all. That's why. Okay. That's why. Because I'm still working. I'm still working on those things. But I can tell you, last year, this time, a couple of my girls are on too. Man, I was doing so much. And I thought that I was doing them a favor, but really I was crippling them. So it was truly a season of just of getting my leadership together, personal development within myself. But I was so content, you guys, so content. And I was helping other people promote. We were pushing out promotions. It just wasn't my time. So just trust the process. Trust the process. Stay in your word. Understand that God will give you things when it's time. And if it's not time, I'll never forget. I was listening to a podcast and I was at church and the pastor said, if God gives you something before it's time, not only can it harm you, but it will harm the people that are attached to you, right? I said, I don't want to hurt nobody. I don't want to be a part of that. So, Lord, give it to me when it's time. So I think that's really, really important to kind of get that mindset.
Yeah, I love that. I love that so much. And understanding that, it isn't a race. That we're going to be in this for a long time. And so, as much as and as fast as we want success, right? And we want that feeling, we also have to define what that success is for ourselves. Okay, a couple of questions. What are you reading right now?
So right now I am reading The Simplified Life. I just ordered Erwin McManus's book, Last Arrow, but it's on back order. So that's going to be my next read. I'm also kind of dipping and dabbing in John Maxwell's The 21 something laws of
irrefutable laws of leadership.
Yeah. So that's what I'm reading right now.
What do you feel like you're learning right now? In the season of your life?
In this season of my life right now, I feel like I'm learning. Right now, the biggest thing that I feel like I'm learning is when it comes to, so many different things. So in terms of leadership, I feel like I'm learning to still release things. I honestly feel guilty when I don't do things for the team. That's honestly how I'm wired. I'm a red, but I'm also yellow. And I love
You're
to serve.
yellow, then you were red. I'm just kidding.
Huh? What you said?
I said you're yellow, then you're red.
Yeah. Yeah. So I kind of struggle with that a little bit, but I'm getting better at it. I have some amazing leaders. And again, if I'm trying to do everything, then I'm really robbing them of their potential. So I keep telling myself that over and over again. And then the other thing personally, or, with my business too, is just really understanding that there's no such thing as balance, but I have to prioritize things in my life, and I have to be unapologetic about the things that I'm prioritizing. So recently I've been like setting aside time, when my daughter gets home from school. I've been intentionally like putting my phone in the other room during a certain number of hours in the evening. And that was really hard for me too, because that's when people are getting off work. But I always said, like, if you do things in decency and in order, you got to make sure that your house is taken care of, first of all. That's your first ministry. Everything flows from there. When home isn't right, you're not right. So when I do things the right way, he's going to bless me. He's going to bless me. I don't have to worry about that, but I have to do my part in making sure that everything is done right and in order. So I feel so much more at peace because of that. So those are some of the things that I feel like I'm growing in right now, and just really discipline. That's another thing too. Discipline. So yeah, that's it.
What do you feel like in the last year is like your greatest failure?
My greatest failure. These are good questions.
Right.
My greatest failure in the last year.
I was thinking of questions because we all want to, it's so cool to like get on here and hear about people's, we publicize the successes, right? But like, I want people to hear about the failures, about why did you learn this stuff? How are you learning all this? Like, what did you fail at, to help you learn this? That we like all the stuff we talked about at the leadership conference.
Yeah. I would say, and the reason why I kind of like it takes me a minute to think about that, you guys, is because I really think of opposition as opportunity. Like, that's just the way that my brain is wired. So I don't dwell on things that were super hard. Sometimes I have to remind myself, like, that was a little bit of a hard season, because I literally like force myself to keep this positive mindset. And I truly, like, my morning prayer is for me to see all opposition as opportunity, like every single morning. So I would say my biggest failure over the last year, to be completely honest with you guys, I would say it was my family. I feel like I really failed my family in the last year, because, and I'm about to tear up because I haven't said that, but just thinking about it, I was not prioritizing things the right way. And it was a sacrifice because I'm pushing for these promotions. And then after it was said and done, God was like, well, you still got these same problems. So what you going to do to like get it together? And so now that's where I am now, is trying to get my life in order. And our relationships in our house have maintained, like, they're healthy. But I know deep down inside that I was not doing the things that I needed to do as a wife and as a mom during that season of really, really pushing. And I feel like different things flowed from that. So that's just a completely transparent, like super, super transparent moment.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, and didn't mean to put you on the spot, but I know that it's gonna help somebody else maybe at this point.
Absolutely.
And within the business, what do you feel like you're most passionate about? Like, what part of the business do you love the most?
So I love the connections that I get to make and just seeing people do well. I love helping and just pouring into people, meeting them where they are, helping them, just seeing their growth. Like, I love to see the growth in people. I actually made a live yesterday on my team page, and it said, somebody told me that they were going to quit their business today, and I'm so happy about it. Right? That was the title of the video. And the reason why I was so happy about it is because this girl who quit, she sent me a message, and it basically just talked about how much she appreciated me helping her with her business, the team being there to push her out of her comfort zone. She learned so much more about herself. She overcame some fears. Her confidence is higher, and she's finally kind of going into an area that she's needed to go in, but she was always afraid to do it. And it's not my job to determine why God brings people to my team. That's not my job. He'll bring some people for me to help, just to be their friend. Maybe they just need a friend. Or maybe it's somebody that comes they need to be built up. They need their confidence to be built up. They need to learn about self-development. Maybe they need to learn something about social media for something that he's going to have them to do in the long run. But it's not my responsibility to be mad at people for leaving my business. That's not my place. So in that moment, it was a very big eye-opener for me. It was like, you served your purpose. Like, that was a season and you did a good job. So be proud of yourself. Don't be upset. Be happy for her. Wish her well. So that's what I love, just being able to connect, help people, meet them where they are. There's so many people who are just pure broken when they come into this business. I was broken when I came into this business and had no idea. So I can relate to people who come in like that. And I love just helping them be able to find their way and to be able to find something that they can be really good at and that they can be really successful with.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Okay, so let's talk just real quick, and we'll just make this quick because it really doesn't take that long to talk about what it takes to promote, right? It doesn't take that long. So if you have somebody that's going, let's say, let's start from, if they're going Ruby the first time, what would you tell them? This is what it's going to take you. These are the sacrifices you might need to make.
Okay, so I actually, like I said, I just did 4 calls about promoting. So this is going to kind of flow really good. It was perfect timing. So the first thing that I told, is that you have to make a decision. You have to mentally make a decision that this is what you want, and you have to know why you want it. So if you are trying to go Ruby and you're just like, oh, well, extra $500 would be nice. It's not really motivating. Okay. That's not really going to push you. You need to know why you need that. Is it that you need to pay, you have a bill that came through, a medical bill that came through, and you have to pay, and you have no way of paying it other than through that bonus, and that extra $500 a month? Whatever it is, attach it to your why and make sure that it's real, y'all. Make sure it's real and something that's going to motivate you and inspire you to push. So that's first. Make a decision. And then you want to know what's on your chart. Your chart has to be filled out. It has to be complete. It needs to be updated every day. It needs to be in your back pocket. If your sponsor or your upline texts you tomorrow and you're take a picture of it. Every day, take a picture of your chart. So even if you don't have it on you, you can always send it to them. You never know. Maybe they want to move a customer to you, but you haven't looked at your chart in 3 or 4 days. So they can't, how are they going to help you? So that's number 2. Make sure you have your chart. Make sure you know what you need on your chart. Go ahead. I always tell my team to write down the names of the people on your chart and how much they need next to it. So that way, as they're getting customers, as you're moving customers, you can mark it off. Okay. The next thing would be to have a game plan. So what are you going to do for the next 10 days? What is your game plan? What is your 6 list going to consist of? On your 6 list should not have mailing out samples. You do that after the 1st, okay? That's not income producing. That's a waste of time right now. Make sure that you're spending your time wisely. So what does that look like? That's adding people every single day. That is posting before and afters daily, okay? That's using your stories to do polls and engage. That's messaging people every day. That's doing host a post. Those are the things that you want to be doing over the next 10 days to really push for your business. And then once you have that game plan in place, no matter what life throws at you over the next 10 days, because life is going to happen. I just told my team, whenever you push for something that's bigger than you, the enemy will try to attack. But if you have a game plan already there, even when you're off your rocker, you can always pull up that 6 list and be like, I'm really off today, but I really need that promotion. So what do I need to do? I can't think straight right now. Oh, here's my list. Let me send out, 50 friend requests on Facebook really quick. So even though life happens, you can still move forward with your business. Stay connected with your upline. Stay connected with your team. Self-development every day is key. Keep your mind right. Keep it right, y'all. I'm telling you, the enemy is coming. It's not if. He's going to come over the next 10 days if you're pushing. So you got to be ready. You got to be fully clothed in that armor so that you can fight him off every single time. Okay? And then I think that's it. I don't have my notes on me from when I was just talking. Stay connected to your group and just fight. Like, understand that this is not, if anybody could do it, anybody would do it. It's going to take some work. Every one of our promotions, it took a little bit of sacrifice. Think about what you are going to sacrifice. Is it that you're not going to watch TV for the next 10 days? Is it that you're not going to go on any date nights? Is it that you're going to stay up an hour later or get up an hour earlier? Is it that you're not going to go out with your friends this Saturday and have drinks? You're going to do that after you promote so you guys have something to actually celebrate. Like, whatever it is, you make those sacrifices so that you can get it done. And that's pretty much it. You just got to have your head in the game, and you got to just fight for it, and fight till the end. If you're up for a promotion, you should be up until that promotion is closed out.
Ain't that the truth? No,
yes.
I love what you said. I think the biggest thing people miss is that knowing that life is going to happen. I think we all come into the month with good intentions, right? We all come into it and we're like, we're so close, we're going to go. And then the 15th comes and we're like, oh, well, we're a little bit further away than we thought because, well, I had to go to this and then I had to go to that. And then, this happened and I wasn't able to send out this many messages because I had this going and I just didn't think that, and there's all this stuff with life. And so we have to plan around that. We have to know ahead of time, okay, if this and this, like we have to have that detour already planned almost, and plan for those construction zones, because if not, we're going to be stuck in the traffic.
Right.
And it's so hard, to say you're doing it, but that's where that decision comes in. That's where that decision, the first thing you do is making that decision. That comes in handy because you know what? Maybe you plan to go to bed at midnight that night, but you had something happen. And so you're going to have to stay up an extra hour to get it done because you already made that decision. You're going to do it.
Right. And you have to take the word try out of your vocabulary. Try does not belong in your vocabulary at all. If you're going to push for your promotion, you just got to get it done. You have to have your list. And if at the end of every day, if you haven't finished your list, then guess what? You got to stay up and finish that list. Like, you don't get to go to sleep. That's literally what I used to tell myself, y'all. I would talk to myself like that. Like, no, you got to get up. If you only got 6 hours of sleep the night before, then guess what? That's why we got keto energy and keto coffee and greens. So that's what I would tell myself, no, legit, y'all. So don't have a pity party for yourself. Fight for what you want. Fight for your dreams. Fight for your family. And at the end of the day, if you don't fight for anybody else, fight for your team. Fight for your team and fight for your future team. You are going to create a momentum that is unreal when you promote.
Yep. Isn't that so true? It's so good. It's so good. Well, I'm so pumped. I'm pumped to see you promote when God says it's your time to promote. I appreciate you coming on here and spending a few minutes with us. I know you're busy in the middle of it, but we appreciate you. And I'm excited. I'm excited for my team to hear from you, just because I want everybody to know, like, this is what the future of It Works looks like. Like, this is what we stand for. This is what, you're somebody that I feel like exudes everything that the company stands for. So just want you to know that I appreciate you.
Thank you. You're so sweet. Okay, so really quick before you go, can you share top 3 tips for promoting if there are anything that's different?
Yeah, I think I mean, some of them are going to kind of overlap with yours. The first thing I would say is expect the road bumps. You know, they're so much easier to prepare for when you expect them, right? If you're flying 400 miles over, or you're running 70 miles per hour down the highway, and you don't see a speed bump, it's going to hit you quick, and you get popped. But if you can know to slow down and prepare for it and go around it or go over it slower, like that really helped me when it came to promotion month. Knowing that number 2 is going to be knowing that you're going to have to do something you've never done to get this promotion. Like, you can't just keep doing what you've always been doing, right? If you want to go somewhere you've never gone, you're going to have to do things you've never done. You're going to have to be more creative. You're going to have to understand, that certain things, it's not always going to be, just your 6 list. Sometimes it might be going above and beyond and getting on an extra call and making sure your customer support ticket got answered and doing this and doing that. There's going to be those things that are going to pop up. And my last thing would be is do not give up. Do not change your mind. Do not think, oh, well, what happened last month or next month or, this or that. Because if you feel that nudge that God is telling you to go, you have to go. Because, I mean, any stutter step, any hesitation that you make, and trust me, I'm guilty of this. It's hard to commit. Like, it's hard to say I'm doing it because your neck is out there, like in front of everybody, and you're just like, yeah, I'm doing it. And then like everybody's waiting for you to do it, and it's like, well, crap, what if it doesn't happen, right? So it's just important that there's no doubt. Like, you deal with the doubt before you make that decision. It's easy to say you made the decision, but to truly make it, to truly commit to doing that is so different than just saying out loud, yeah, I'm going to do it. When people ask you, I'm doing it. You're not doing it. Like, if you answer like you're not doing it, you have to deal with the doubt before you make the decision. Because that doubt is going to come. But if you've prayed about it and if you've done your due diligence on the front end and you've said, you know what, this is my time, this is our time, this is our team's time, this is our company's time, this is whoever's time, then guess what? It's time. And like you said, if God gives you the blessing beforehand, you can hurt people, right? But the same thing goes true. Like, if he tells you to go get the blessing and you don't get it, you're not only hurting yourself, you can hurt other people around you if you don't go get it. And because that could be that's something that somebody else needed. And so it has to be that decision, because nobody's done anything great by just remaining in limbo and being too scared, because everybody is scared. But I was listening to TD Jakes, and he said, you know what? You don't have to fight for it. What's going to make you fight to keep it? Nothing. You're not going to want to. And he's like, and if you call Jesus a healer, but you ain't ever been sick, how do you know he's a healer? You're going to go through these struggles. This is part of the growth process that Jasmine was just already touched on. And so all of these things, all of these promotions that we're talking about, these promotions to me are just almost like road signs for God telling me that I'm heading in the direction that he wants me to head in, and when you can get to the place where you're truly doing it for those reasons, I was telling my leaders, like, when you truly can get to that place, there's nothing, if you're doing it for God's ambition, there's nothing too ambitious. And you should be totally unapologetic about whatever you're going after if you're doing it for his reasons, not yours. So that's all I got for you, though.
That's good, though. And that made me think of one more thing, Kelsey, before we go, is to really, really think about the importance of helping your team, the people on your chart. Don't try to do it all by yourself. Like, give people the tools, equip them to get their own wins. Those are the people that are going to stay. You can't do it by yourself. You can't. You may be able to get the ruby by yourself, but listen, let me tell you, that only is going to last so long, and it's going to flop probably the next month.
And it's no fun.
Yeah, and it's no fun, right? It's no fun. It's so stressful. So make sure that you are giving, like, be patient, be compassionate with people, and tell people, like, I want you to do this with me. Let's look at what you've been doing. Send me some screenshots. Let's get on a 3-way. I'm doing a call at 1:00 today. Can you hop on and listen to how I'm explaining things? When is your next call? Let me hop on 3-way with you, and I will give you some feedback. But when you help people get their own wins, y'all, it's such a great feeling within yourself. And then they feel empowered to continue to do it. And guess what? Those are the people that are going to stay. Those are the people that are going to be able to find their own way and become leaders in this business. But if you're constantly wanting to do it all by yourself, nobody's going to stay. They're either going to, they might stay, but guess what they're going to do while they're staying? They're going to sit back and chill and watch you do everything. Or they're going to leave because it's not fun for them. They're not doing anything. It's not challenging them. And it really feels like you're doing it all for yourself. If you're not helping other people to get their own wins and grow, it's so much bigger than the check. It's so much bigger than the promotion. So just think about that as you're pushing. Who can you help? And focus on those people. If you're pushing for Ruby, who are you going to help to go executive? You should be like 2 times excited for that person to go executive than how you feel about going Ruby. That's how I look at it. Somebody has to tell me, my DT had to tell me that I had went Emerald when 2 of them went Ruby. She's like, well, you went Emerald, right? Because I was so excited that they had gone Ruby that I forgot that I had gone Emerald. Like, it had not clicked in my brain yet. So have that servant mentality, y'all. It's going to take you a long way, a servant leadership mentality. And I'm just excited to see y'all win. Kelsey, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah,
and,
thank you so much for.
I'm going to have you to get on our call too.
Okay, thank you. I love you so much. Bye, guys. Have a good night. Thank you guys so much for hopping on. Hope it blesses you.